Hey everyone, welcome to week 1 of The Good Life. Here is your 3-minute recap. This week we kicked off a brand new series where we're working through this list that Jesus made called the Beatitudes. Now what he does is he describes what God says is the good life. But when we compare it to the goals that we have in our life, they're really different. Most of our hashtag goals are more comfort and more money and better relationships and improved circumstances. But Jesus' list has nothing to do with his circumstances. In fact, we learn that Jesus is the happiest person in the world, but it doesn't mean that his life was pain-free, problem-free, or stress-free. Jesus had all those things, but he was still able to be happy. He still had the good life. And the first beatitude that we locked in on is found in Matthew 5, verse 3, and it goes like this. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Other translations say, blessed are those that are poor in spirit, for they realize their need for God. And most of us have spent most of our lives, most of our school decisions, career decisions, friend decisions, trying to reduce as much need as possible. If we can save enough, if we can earn enough, if we can achieve enough, then we don't really need much of God at all. Jesus painted the picture that that's not how the kingdom of God works. In fact, we find this story that he told in Luke chapter 14 called the Great Banquet. And he said the kingdom of God is like this. It's like a guy that throws a party, invites all of his friends, invites all the who's who. They say they're going to come. But when it comes time for the party, they think that they have something better to do. They got work obligations, they got family obligations. And so the host, instead of getting even with those guys that are ghosting on his party, he goes and invites all the uninvitable. He invites all the unlovable. He invites those people that so clearly knew that there's no way that they could earn a seat at the table. It was those kinds of people that responded to the invitation to the feast. Jesus says that's the kingdom of God. And so we wrestled with this idea that one of the most dangerous things that we can ever become is successful. In fact, it's our accomplishments, it's our trophies, it's our degrees, it's our paychecks that sometimes convince us that we have no need for God at all. Maybe it's a nice idea, but I don't know that I depend on him. And Jesus is saying all that success can trick us into thinking that we're self-sufficient, into thinking that we figured it out, into thinking that we've built a life free of need. And it's those that actually understand their need. They're the first and the best at responding to the invitation of grace. And so what we're wrestling with as a group is, when was the last time that I needed God? When was the last time I was dependent on him? Have I numbed myself to any kind of struggle? Have I comforted myself out of actually depending on God to come through? You see, the illusion is, especially in Santa Barbara, we don't need much. It's perfect weather, it's perfect beauty, it's perfect tacos, it's perfect friends, it's perfect beautiful people. This is the place that we don't need a thing. And it's an illusion. It's not true. And so, what I want you to wrestle with right now is, what is it that you need from God? And if you can't answer that question, this is a perfect wake-up call that we have become numb to our need, and it's time to reimagine a life where we are dependent on God, because Jesus says that is where the blessing really is. And when we're depending on him to do the things that only God can do, that's when we're living the good life.